Hello there. I am so glad that you're here with me tonight because I have somebody that's not just one of the best researchers I know, but she's funny. She is a great person to talk about anything anomalous with because she knows a little bit of something about everything and a lot about a lot. But she is also the editor and owner of Starships Over Cashiers. And I probably said that wrong. But Mary Joyce, she started out as a career journalist. She goes and she gets the most fascinating information. She primarily uses public information, public access information. And that is something I think is very cool. She has been an inspiration for me in so many ways. And I'm lucky to have friends like this. But she's Mary Joyce, and let's bring her in here.
Hi there. How you
And
doing?
I'm good. And I stumbled over Starships Over Cashiers, but that's one of my favorite websites on the planet. So I hope you'll forgive me.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
but I'm so
Anyhow,
glad.
you're one of the few people who I have met in person. Most of the people I talk to on shows like this, I've only met them through shows like this or with emails. So it's really nice to talk to somebody whose face I've actually seen in person.
I know, and over a good lunch too.
It
So,
was.
I'm sorry. I have been outside a lot today and working in a garage as well. There we go. And I just had a piece of something in my eyelash, so I apologize for being so distracted right off the bat. But, it is nice because when you can meet somebody that you enjoy and you enjoy the topics that each other study and are aware of, it just makes for great conversation, I think.
It does. It does.
So,
Don't have to worry about topics. They will just come to the surface. The
well, and
only
we're
the
good.
only thing I will add to what your nice introduction was that currently I'm doing a whole lot of deep research into like Navy files and things that people just don't take time to dig into, and I find some really incredible stuff. But that hasn't always been the way I've done stuff because I've done 5 different books, and it's all
Yes.
been firsthand research. So I've done both, and I didn't want people to think I was just sitting here just always
Oh,
getting stuff from the computer.
absolutely. Absolutely. That's one of the things that I absolutely am so impressed with you about because you have a really a really great focus. You are able to you can isolate areas of the information. You don't get bogged down in the details,
I get
although you
so
have incredible details.
I get so annoyed with experts because they write for their peers, and they get real
Yes.
technical, and they have to share everything from every different angle, and you lose most people that way. So a lot of times I will go through this really heavy stuff, and you can pull out just a few things like this, and you've got the essence of what the poor people were trying to say. And I want people to get to the information, and then if they want to dig deeper, they certainly can. I usually give them the original source or something that they can dig into for themselves if they really 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 want to go deep. But I don't want to lose everybody with all this in-house technical talk, which is what too many people do.
Well, I found that the more politically connected or the less social interaction they get, if they're just a researcher, that sometimes they tend to bog down like that. And you don't do that.
Yeah, I
You
get
know,
bored too easily, and I know other people do too. I
well,
have to force myself to read some of this stuff because you go, oh my God, you know, we just went through 5 paragraphs, and here's the essence of it right there. It's
yeah, I do know.
it's annoying.
Well, I was trained as a paralegal. So to me, I I had to learn how to do that too. And it's fine to do that. And I do understand that for some people, the technical is their life. That's what they live every day. And so I'm married to a chess player who is very focused on everything that he's doing in the moment, as opposed to always going straight to big picture. And I'm more of a big picture and then narrow it down person. And
Bingo.
yes, yes. And, it makes the research fun. And I've also found, we're both very interested in ufology. We're interested in experiencers and experiences and knowing as much as we can about each incident so that we can ascertain if there's similarities, where there are similarities. If this happened over in Tibet, did it also happen in Great Britain? I mean, did the same thing circumnavigate us and find people to let's see it? Have you seen the film yet?
Which film?
Okay. The brand new one.
The Disclosure one?
Ma'am?
The Disclosure film or another
The
one?
Disclosure film, and I just lost my train.
It doesn't come out. It doesn't come out to the 21st of this month.
It's on Prime.
Is it? Okay.
The Age of Disclosure.
Right.
And I watched it, and I didn't know that it was only on Prime, but that's what I use. So
How lucky you are.
I know, right? I Googled. Well, I didn't Google. I went in Amazon. I was like, is this out? And it was. And you're going to love it. And it's really funny because it's being trashed by the people that have been doing their thing for some time now. And I've met Lou Elizondo. I've met a lot of people that are in that film. And to me, it's fascinating. I'm a member of the Scientific Coalition on UAP Studies. And so this is something that really a lot of people I know have been very excited to see. And
listen,
it blew me away.
We are living in a really exciting time. And
Aren't we, though?
Things are speeding up like crazy. And
yes.
I'm getting really strong information about even more of it's going to be coming in 2026. And people who've been following this kind of thing for years, I think we're finally going to start to get some stuff that is undeniable. And people from the top ranks to the people next door that, poo-hoo it all, I think they're all going to have to step back and go, oh my goodness. I do think we're in line for some big stuff.
I agree. And
your role and my role has been trying to, as much as we can, get information out to help get people to the point where they can accept those kind of things.
Yes. And the more that we do, well, now I love that with Starships Over Cashiers, you bring so much information and you source it. You have imagery. One of the ones, let me go and pull this up because if we're going to start this, I want to pop this on out here.
If it's that article, I'll tell your audience what. Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. But these two columns, I mean, can you tell people what this is?
No, not for sure.
Well, but what you feel it is?
It is, let's see, you're really digging into something I wasn't even thinking you were going to pull up. I don't know if I can really answer. I don't know if I can really answer that one.
Well, it's these two columns,
obviously,
right?
Something like that just doesn't appear in the sky out of nowhere. There's no cloud that's going to be a pillar in the sky like that. So,
well, even if it was a tornado coming down, you've got two of them right there together, and the other one's light.
Right. So, and we're going to see more and more of this kind of phenomena. And people have cell phone cameras. Almost everybody does now. So if something stays in place long enough, they can get their camera out and get pictures. And when people are taking their own pictures of things they've seen in the sky, and then they can show it to other people, we're going to have a lot more people believing that, yes, the number of UFOs coming in is much greater. There's a big show that's already started.
Yes. And, one of the things that I didn't realize that wasn't readily available yet, but the age of disclosure, if you have not seen it yet, if you don't have Amazon Prime, when it's coming on Netflix, it's coming, you can see it. And that's what, the 26th?
21st of November, and
21st.
there's three cities that are going to have it in actual theaters, and I think
Yes.
that's New York, Washington D.C., and someplace out in California, probably San
Probably
Francisco.
LA,
Probably,
because a
yeah,
lot of the
probably
people that
yes.
are working on it have affiliations there. But, the thing that got me is that I didn't know who Lou Elizondo was the first time I met him. I met him at UFO Congress in Phoenix. And he was actually one of the nicest, funniest, most down to earth people I knew. One of my girlfriends just, you know, worked with him also, Chase Klotsky, and they knew each other. And so she introduced us, and he was brilliant. And that was the year that Jeremy Corbell had made a film that won all kinds of awards, and Chase was in it, and a lot of other people too. But it was interesting to meet someone, and then when I found out his history, also it blew me away. And when you see that film, you're going to be very enthusiastic about what you see. And we have a Secretary of State who is who's in that film, who is commenting on it. And I just am, would you ever have thought we would get there by now?
I've always been a long-term optimist, but I thought I was going to have to wait even longer than we're having to wait because it's coming out fast, and I'm just
This
thrilled.
is so fast. Do you think that perhaps because 3i Atlas has been known about well before the public was made aware of it, and because of the movements and stuff, and do you think that's one of the reasons that perhaps, I mean, obviously they've been filming this for some time. Rubio was already involved. Everything was already happening. But I feel like 3i Atlas has just kind of been jamming this through a little harder. Do you think that?
You mean to like cover up other things, that kind of thing? Or
Well, I
how do you,
think that the inability to cover it up, I mean,
oh,
they're still trying, but there's too many people that are watching through
around the world, not
around
just
the world.
right. And so they're picking it up in other places. The
Yeah.
only thing that I've done on the website about that is I follow a lot of things on the moon, I mean on Mars. And
Yeah.
when 3i Atlas was the closest to Mars, there were these two cylinder shaped objects that were picked up by the camera on Mars. And you go, could there be a
Yes.
correlation? Could that have been some kind of a probe or some kind of a monitor thing that was coming from that? I didn't even speculate. I just put it out there
Right.
that came by. These came by at the same time that object was so close to Mars, or as close as it got. Wasn't close by my standards, but it was close by cosmic standards.
Cosmically, it was next door. Yeah.
Close.
So,
That's
you know,
all I've done because they've been going. Everybody with a whole lot of credentials is dealing with this, and there's no reason I need to jump into the middle of it and add my 2 cents because we're getting
I
two
like your
cents.
2 cents.
We get 2 cents from everybody on this one. After a while, people go, "Oh, forget it," and so it'll come out, and I'm going to wait till they
It's
can't
fun
deny
though.
whatever it is.
It's so fun. And I want to say hi to Jeremy and Lori. So I'm glad y'all are in there. And, I am just I'm just thrilled. I'm thrilled that you're here because I love talking to you. What is because I do have something that I wanted to ask you about. It's one of your articles and the imagery was the how the sun can kind of
You want me
camouflage
to jump
until
in on? Let me explain to your audience. I just sent Kate or Kat a article that I haven't even posted on the website, and I think she's going to show you some of the pictures from that. But let me give you the background story. Back in 2013, I was contacted by a man in the Netherlands. He's one of these technical geniuses, and he was taking original NASA photos that were taken by the SOHO satellite. This is a satellite, there's more than one, but the SOHO satellites are aimed at the sun and they take a picture every 12 minutes. And anybody can get on the SOHO live feed and you can see, what's just happened within the last 12 minutes. So he took one of these, and in the lower corner, there's something that simply could be dismissed as a streak. Well, he zeroed in on that. And the detail, the mechanical detail was just incredible. And it wasn't shaped like anything that we would associate with a UFO. It wasn't saucer shaped or round or anything that we normally would imagine. It was like a T shape, and it had this almost like this giant zigzaggy antenna that went out from it.
okay,
And
that's not the
uh,
one I
that's not the one I got you. Didn't I send
I
that to you?
I don't think so. Let me pull this up
Okay.
because there's a couple of different ones. And I was fascinated by this one. This is from here. This is taken here.
That's from a webcam that's up all the time, and it's aimed. The sun is in this picture, and there's a black spot in the middle of it. Well, everybody who sees pictures like this is quick to dismiss the black spot as just kind of a
No.
camera fluke. Well, this happens to be over water, and you can
Yeah.
see in the shadow the a reflection of that dark spot in the water. So
Yes.
if it was a camera anomaly of some sort, it wouldn't cast a shadow like that. So
No.
that's definite proof that something was trying to hide in the middle of the sun. And many times the big ships will hide in the brightness of the sun so we can't see it.
I've
Um,
seen this. I've
one
seen
of the
this with my own eyes.
have you?
And I didn't, you know, because I'm thinking, oh, well, it's my eyes. I have sunspots. But why is there only one and why is it black? Because it was the same thing. And if I'm not mistaken, Lori in chat was with me when I saw that because I was like, oh, what's that? But because I'm a beach goer and I'm a beach walker and that's why I see things. But and then you come over here to the left of this image and you have the moon or something, right?
Right.
And
Well, that I didn't bring that up in the discussion, but that does make you wonder, doesn't it?
it does because as I said, even if I am in Gulf Shores, which is on the southern coast of Alabama, and I've got the sunset to my west, the moonrise is not that close. The moonrise is like it is everywhere else. And so I thought this was a brilliant catch by you or where you found it because it's just brilliant.
I
And
have
if
found
anybody,
many. I have found many with that black spot, but that's the
Mhm.
first one I found with a reflection, and that just to me was
Yes,
evidence.
the reflection is the kicker because you can't discard that. I don't care who you are. You cannot discard that. And probably, you know,
The very first picture that I think I ever really posted of a UFO on the Skyships Over Cashier's website was taken by I think she was 8 years old at the time, and she had a camera, and her mother was shopping, and she was, I think, in the parking lot, and she was just snapping pictures of the sky. Well, she got one of the sun, and in the middle of it was a saucer-shaped UFO. Um, that the camera picked up. Of course, you can't see it with your eye, But that was the very first one. It was a standard shaped UFO hiding in the light of the sun.
I just think that's the coolest thing ever.
And that
I
couldn't
mean,
be an anomaly. That can't be a camera anomaly either, just because it was the shape of a saucer shaped UFO.
right? And I just don't understand. You've been doing this with ufology longer than I have, with the imagery and things of that nature. You're also really great on cryptids. I am going to give credit where credit's due. There is nothing that you write about that I don't find fascinating. I like it.
You're
And
very kind. You're very kind. Thank you. And I would encourage anybody, if they just have like an afternoon or, where they have some free time, they might want to get on there. And in every section, there are archives that go back to 2008. And I swear to God, most people will find the things in the archives new to them also.
I would agree. I did when I started. So, and, it's, I've actually been well educated by your site. I
Wow, aren't you kind? Jeez.
Well, most people don't think so. But it's
I'm one of the lucky ones.
I'm glad. I'm glad you do. But no, really, I'm Southern. I almost have to be. But it's one of the things that gets me is that it's like with this film, you're going to find that there are a lot of people that are very dismissive in the community of this film. They're very, I don't know, they're just not pleased with this film. And I'm like, really?
Well,
When's the last time?
it's not aimed at the people that already think they know all the answers. It's aimed at the
Well,
people who don't know that much, isn't it?
yes, yes.
And
And
that's the bigger audience. The
but
experts
it's
aren't
also,
the audience.
I think a lot of the problem has to do, and I'm going to piss off a lot of people. I don't really care. It has to do with ego
Absolutely.
because this film has so many government officials, but the dadgum Secretary of State for the United States of America is talking about the UFO phenomenon, and he's not disregarding it and he's not dissing it. And Lori says she does remember seeing that with me
Well,
when I
that's
was
in the
there.
trailer. That's in the trailer, and I know I posted that on the Facebook and tried to get that out, and Marco Rubio is quoted in that.
It's I was I was excited once I knew about it in the first place. But I just can't wait for you to see it because it's like I said, that I did not know that I was going to be one of the people that saw it early. I just, I thought everybody was watching it. But it's just really funny that there's so many people with such strong opinions at this point, and that's not even out everywhere yet. So
Sometimes you
must
just
be a
have
lot
to
of
be
toes
quiet
that,
and wait for things to happen. Like
yeah,
I told you, I won't jump in the middle of this 3-eye atlas. There's just
yeah.
so many people. Let's just see what happens. There's lots
Well,
of
I think it's
telescopes. The truth has got to come out.
yeah. Well, I was so disappointed because I watched that press conference, and
Wait, the press conference for what?
Three Eye Atlas,
Okay.
and so I was watching it, and four NASA people were all sitting there, and this very austere, very rigid man said, "It's a comet. It's a comet." And I'm like, nobody told me your credentials, you know. And that's really all he said in the whole press conference, right? The
Really?
others were the information givers. But it was just kind of like, Mm, there's a lot of information out about this that y'all haven't been able to keep down. So I'll withhold my judgment. you know.
Let the guys fight about it, right? Just let them fight.
Yeah, I'm just going to
It'll come
enjoy
out.
it because
It'll come out.
I've been loving it. I mean, I think it's so much fun. And it's just one of the things that we're going to, 5 years from now, we're going to be looking back at it going, huh, I wonder why they fought that so hard. you know?
By the way, I started talking about the guy from the Netherlands and the
Yeah.
images around the sun.
Mhm.
Did you? It doesn't matter whether you did or not, but did you get that?
Well, I thought that that's what I got, but I don't think I did.
No, that wasn't it. That wasn't
No.
it. It was.
So,
It went into your email, but I'm sure it's too
well,
long.
I've got the email, and I was like, what I have. Oh, bear with me.
Okay. While she's looking, this is really kind of an interesting mystery because I had been in touch with this man for 3 years. He was constantly getting different pictures of huge objects around the sun, and he suddenly disappeared. His YouTube channel stopped. He didn't respond to any emails. I did searches on the internet in his country. I even checked the obituaries. I couldn't find any sign of him. And I can't rule out the possibility that he was told or in some way shut down because he was revealing stuff that clearly they don't want people to know. And I know for a fact because when I post some of these things, they get wiped off of Google or wherever I find them, maybe the next day. That's happened many times, especially discoveries that I've made in Antarctica and on Mars. And in the Atlantic, my goodness, I found a satellite image of two pyramids on the ocean floor south of the island. Is it New Providence? New Providence Island in the Bahamas. And you can see these two pyramids. Well, I posted that. And then after that, it looked like somebody took a piece of tape, only photographic tape, and put it right on top of where that was, and you no longer could see them. And some of that evidence I have in my book, Spy in the Sky, where I've taken screenshots so I can show people what things looked like and then how they disappeared. And they've gone to great efforts to make many things disappear. I found two great entrances into Antarctica. The largest one is like 300 feet across and 100 feet high, so most airplanes could just fly into there. And as when I posted that, it went through three very interesting steps. Number one, suddenly it was like somebody took a bottle of ink and poured black ink all over the whole area. Then, for a very brief amount of time, over one of those entrances, it said Hollow Earth Entrance, and the other one said Hollow Earth Entrance 2. Those were only there for a little bit. And eventually, the whole thing looks like there's nothing but a sheet of ice there. And I've been able to get pictures of all of those. I feel like I'm guided sometimes to turn on the computer and do some of this stuff because like those labels, they weren't there, but just a little bit. And I was able to catch it. So I give credit to the unseen forces for nudging me to turn on the computer.
Well, I would agree that you are guided because the stuff that you find, you should not. I mean, it's
I'm
really,
in conflict because there's the newspaper part of me that wants to be factual and just facts, ma'am, that kind of thing.
I know.
But at the same time, some of these things happen, and I personally know that I'm getting nudged to do things. There's just no doubt about it because you know, I just wouldn't be able to do some of the things I've been able to do.
Well, I agree because it's really interesting. You get some of the weirdest stuff.
What do you mean?
People send you and you get some of the weirdest stuff. And I'm going to try to bring these in
Did you find what I was
because
talking about, those pictures?
I did.
Wonderful. Because people, I could never describe what these are because it's just beyond just
No.
words. And by the way, I have photos or imagery with almost everything I post on that website. We are in a very visual world, and you can't just give people a lot of gray matter. They're not going to read it unless they're really, really into it. So I try to make it, I
Yeah.
try to weave the words with the pictures so everything can come alive as much as possible.
You do a good job. So
It's done very intentionally because you will lose your audience if you don't do that.
well, like I said, you are. Okay. Now I think that I've got these right.
Okay.
Okay. So
That's it. That's the original NASA photo that was taken by a SOHO satellite, which is constantly taking pictures of the sun every 12 minutes. Um, so that looks like a simple streak down in the corner. Now, this
mhm,
gentleman, Mart Padmos, who's from the Netherlands, technical whiz that I was fortunate enough to be contacted by, and he zoomed in on this. And you've got the zoom shots, which are the really astounding. At least I think you
okay.
do.
Yeah. Well, do
At
you
least
want
you can try to do technical stuff while talking. I can't do that. All right, this is the first enlargement. And you can see that that streak is a T shape with
mhm,
a zigzaggy thing going way out for hundreds and hundreds of miles.
sure,
And
yes.
then he zeroes in even more. He zeroes in on the T part of this, which there you go. So the first picture um, has a box around it. So the
Mhm,
next picture is the enlargement of what's inside that box. And you can see that it's metallic looking. And in
mhm,
some of the ships that he has caught pictures of, they look like flutes or something very shiny and metallic, and they don't begin to look like any conventional UFO that we would
mhm.
ever be thinking of.
But I will say that these two enlargements, um, are we there yet?
I see them.
Okay. But those to me are really, um, you do come into a craft looking image with the, because it looks like in the more enlarged one, it looks like it's got almost like with our shuttles and stuff that we've put up. It looks like it's piggybacked on something, and it looks like it has a rounded window or something at the top of the bottom one, the one that looks like a key.
Now show the original one with the NASA orange colored one, because I want to
Okay.
talk about something else here. All right, that dark circle, the red circle in the middle, is a shield that protects the camera from the intensity of the sun's
Right.
light.
Mhm.
In the middle of that disc is a white circle, or just
Mhm.
the outline of one. That is the actual size of the sun. The sun is about 864,000 miles across, I believe. Now compare that to the width of this streak down here in the lower corner. If if that's comparable, this thing is hundreds of thousands of miles going out from that T shape.
Yes. Well, this is a fascinating anomaly. I'm going to go back to the enlargement.
And in the original, so that people know it's real, in the lower left hand corner, which you're not seeing now and it's not important, but it has the actual date that the NASA photo was taken.
And I
Oh yeah, it's 20. I can barely read it. It's 2012, and it
nine
was
five nine five twenty
no
twelve.
2012. So that's a long time ago, but it's hard to get some of these. And of
Well,
course,
it's hard to get them because I bury them.
not only that, but I haven't met somebody else who could do what Mart was able to do. And so I can still find streaks and stuff in the Soho photos, but I don't have the technical wherewithal to enlarge them like he could.
You know, I just think that it's one of the worst things in the world that a I know that you interact with the people that you work with, and you've searched diligently for your friend, for this man. And people don't just really vanish off the face of the earth when it's somebody with your investigative skills looking for them.
Well, I couldn't go to the country. Maybe I could have found him if I'd gone over there, but from this distance, I couldn't find him.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
And I really do think that he was probably shut up.
Well, I mean, Siri, I really think that this looks like a craft in the area that I've darkened there. I don't know if you can see that I did that.
Now,
But
in the books, in the book, the short title is "Spy in the Sky." You can only get it from me because
yes,
they've been trying to block that book. And my other four books are listed with this on Amazon, but this is the only one you have to get through me. And if you go to Sky Ships, it's Sky, not Star,
yeah. And
skyshipsovercashers.com.
I need
Go,
that.
go to
Sorry.
Editor's Corner and it'll tell you how to get the book. And
Yes,
it's I hate to sound like a commercial, but it's only
that's okay.
$16. It's only $16. It would be like 25 or something like that on Amazon. And I just want the information out there. This is not a moneymaker for me. In fact, this book has been this is a loser for me as far as making money. But I feel it's so important that it's a personal mission to get it out there as much as I can. And again, it's Sky Ships Over
Chips.
Cashers.
Yes.
Cashers is spelled just like a cashier at the grocery store.
And I
But
still say cashiers. I know it's not, and I still
Cashers is the way the natives say it, and it's a little tiny village type town at the top of a
too
mountain
tiny.
here
Yes.
in North Carolina, and that's where we first started seeing all the UFOs in quite a bit. And we named the website after that. Well, the website's gone way beyond that. If I had any real foresight, I probably would have picked a different name, but you don't change it in mid course after it's been there since 2008.
And it's such a great site. So, and now that, I am telling people the wrong words, I'm so sorry.
That's
I
okay.
think my I think my audio got me discombobulated for a minute, but it's just such a great site because you have information on everything. You've got in the underwater UFOs or USOs. You're the first person that I ever learned about that from.
Well, I
So
know they want to call it something else. They call it, let's see, under, I don't know, submerged ops. I
merged
don't know, but
objects,
they've got
yeah,
they've got another name for it. And I
unidentified
just
submerged
refuse.
objects.
I don't want to use that term because UFOs are impervious to whatever they want to fly in. They can fly in water, they can fly in air, they can go fast, they can go slow, they can do anything they want to. The ones underwater are not a different species. And so when you
No,
give
they're
them a different
not.
name, it sounds like they're a different species.
Well, one of the things that people don't talk about very much is when they were having the Navy interactions. And I have friends that have been on boats out in the Indian Ocean too. That they see the flying, but they see the transmedium ones also, and they don't lose speed when they submerge.
No, they don't.
They just it doesn't matter. And to me, that's because the physics of that should be impossible based on our knowledge. If you're going to come out of the air, submerge, and just keep going, there should be resistance that will slow you down. And they don't seem to be, subject to that.
And the enormity or the huge number of them is kind of mind-boggling. A
Yes.
rather recent posting I put on the website is the title is "Thousands of Underwater UFOs Reported Off the U.S. East Coast," and this
Yes.
is from the world's largest global UFO tracking website. It's called Enigma, And they say that there's been more than 9,000 underwater sightings within 10 miles of the U.S. shore, uh, and 500 of them have been within 5 miles of the coast. Now, that tells you there's a lot of activity going on.
Well, yes, and that's also near a lot of military installations, including our nuclear military naval installations. So that gives you something to ponder too.
It sure
And
does.
you know, I know that historically it appears that these beings, these craft, the different air and sea, have been interested in our nuclear locations. Do you find that in your research? Or I feel that
Um,
that's true. Do you find it in your research?
Absolutely. When I lived in Florida, are we having a trouble here?
I see you.
I don't.
Okay.
There we go. I don't know what happened. Did you lose me? Because I lost you. And I'm
Well, I didn't lose you, but it came up and said add you to stage, and you were already sitting there where I could see you. So I'm not sure what happened. Oh,
I'm hearing an
now you're
echo.
there.
Hello, hello. Do you know why that's happening?
Let's see. Now I've got two of you. I'll do that. How's
Hello,
that?
hello. No, I'm getting the echo.
Let me start over and I will
Okay.
pull this, pull that down. Hello, it's me. I'm going to go grab Mary.
Hello. I'm okay. I don't hear an echo.
Okay. And I don't hear an echo and I see you.
I see
Carl,
you
are
and
we
I don't
good?
hear my. It's very distracting to try to talk to you when I'm hearing myself talk back at me. It just doesn't work.
Carl, can you help?
No, we're okay now. It's
Oh,
working
good.
now.
So, okay. Thank you, sir. Y'all, I have to tell you that Carl Everson. He is the nicest man, and he keeps me, you know, grieving with the technical side of this stuff when I get something a little wonky like that. And he had already fixed it before I knew he had. So thank you, Carl. So
I got to chat with Carl before the show actually started. He's a very nice guy.
he's brilliant. He can do anything. So,
Well, I'm impressed that you can talk and find stuff to put on the screen at the same time. I don't think I could even do that.
well, I knew where it was. I just didn't because I wanted to ask you about it, but with my audio issues, I didn't really get a chance before we started. And I wasn't sure about the red one, the original picture
Gotcha.
from that article. So that was where I was getting a little bit wiggy with that. But you know, I am so interested. You've got
Can I just jump around here? Because I think your audience might be interested.
I love it if you jump around. I much
Okay.
rather do that.
When I was using Google Earth is both a blessing and a curse. I find wonderful things with Google, but Google also can just wipe things away and they disappear. But
Yeah.
I've used Google Earth to also explore the ocean. And
Yes.
I mentioned briefly about finding the pyramids in the Bahamas. Well,
Mhm.
in the Pacific, there's a
Yes.
totally different kind of structure. They're huge. Everything I found from Alaska all the way down to Baja, the proportions are huge. And I give Jimmy Church credit for inspiring me to do this search because he's the one that gets credit for letting the world know about a huge structure off of Malibu in California. It's huge. I don't know if I can get the statistics off the top of my head, but the columns are like 400 feet across and there's a bunch of them. It's just enormous. There's 2,000 feet between two of the pillars holding up this stone roof that's also very, 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 very thick. And so I thought, oh my goodness, that's signs of an ancient civilization. It can't be the only thing. So I made it my mission to start searching the whole coastline. And the thing that impressed me the most was finding what looks exactly like an airport runway. And in my book, Spy in the Sky, I have a picture of that underwater runway airport next to one, a conventional airport. And you can see how similar they are. The big difference is the longest runway in the world is not much more than 300 no than 3 miles. That's the max. This thing is 39 miles in length. My theory is finding all
35
these.
miles.
89 miles in length.
89.
89 miles in length compared to 3 miles. That's huge.
That's crazy.
That is huge. And so everything being so huge wherever I looked, I have to conclude that the culture that once lived in what is now known as Lemuria or Mu, that's supposedly just a legend, an ancient civilization that sunk to the bottom of the Pacific. This indicates that that place was real, that it really existed. Not only that, the enormity of the structures indicate that the people who lived on Lemuria were giants.
Can I pull this image up that I pulled off of
Any,
your Facebook page?
anything you find, go ahead. I trust you.
It has
Yes,
Jimmy,
thank you.
but
That helps. Yes, I
I mean,
posted this story on him because I wanted to give him credit for inspiring
well,
my search.
sure. And he's
And
brilliant too.
And if you've got that right in front of you, you probably have the statistics on like how thick that roof is. It seems like it's like, I think you said 750 feet in depth, and it's at least 3 miles.
About 1,000 feet below the surface. And I mean, fade to black, he has so many
He's so
great
easy to
shows.
talk to. He's just,
Yeah. And let's see. He said the roof is 750 feet thick. The pillars are about 40 feet wide, and the distance between the two pillars
400 feet wide.
feet, 400 feet wide.
Right.
And the
A
distance
pillar.
between the two central pillars is about 2,000 feet. And, and is this off Malibu?
Yes, it's about 6 miles off Malibu, correct.
That's wicked cool. But
And he's seen that. He went down with a crew, a scuba crew, and all sorts of technical equipment.
there's a reason he's one of my heroes.
He does a good job at what he does.
He does. And he is, as you said, he's just one of the nicest people too. And he's the one that first educated me about crypto, actually. So he's a smart guy. And that was way back before anybody was ever buying crypto. So he's versatile.
Yes, yes. And I admire these people that have all these experts on their shows and can remember what the people tell them. My brain isn't that good. I wish I had that ability.
Well, that's why I have notebooks.
Yes, me too. That's why
if I didn't
write
write it down, it's probably not going to get talked about. But or if I didn't write it down, I won't remember to go and research it later, because when I talk to people that are working in stuff that's not my normal thing, like, yeah, you're very versatile with what you do. You cover so many topics. And if I don't have a notebook, I'm not going to go and find it. I have to go back and listen to the whole show. And although usually I know where in the show it is, but it's just, you do a lot of stuff.
But like you, I have to go back and look at what I've written, because even though I've written the article, that doesn't mean that 6 months from now I'm going to be able to quote what I wrote about.
You write a lot of articles.
I wish I could, but I can't.
Well, it's I literally am blown away. And I have another picture of yours that I pulled.
Okay.
Because I found it interesting. I'm a telescope girl, but this image, can you see it?
Oh yes, that I think that came out of England.
Planet behind it.
And what's interesting is that's the sun, I believe,
Sun.
and you can see this real hazy red image would be to the right of
Mhm.
that, and it's not just it's not flat. It's got you can tell it's spherical, and so it's not just a shadow image of something, and that was briefly caught in the picture taken of the sun.
Well, and you didn't lose the object when you pulled the light down.
Right.
And that's what I found interesting too, because that would happen.
Yes.
That should happen. You know, if you're pulling the light down, it's just that's one of my favorite ones that I found on your stuff because that shouldn't be there.
No, it shouldn't. And many of
And
these things are only there for a moment. So if you're not there with the camera at that moment, you're gonna miss it. You're gonna
yeah,
miss it. So
I find that to be true with a lot of anomalous stuff.
what I've found is I'm the cause of us losing contact at one point. I cannot pull up the screen for my um, website and still keep you on the screen. When I did that, you disappeared. So
Oh,
I can't go into my own files to do reference to help us with this
that's
conversation.
okay. I
And
can
I
go into your
apologize for
files.
that. I'll tell you something I would love for you to pull up if you can. Um, it's the, I know I had it on Facebook and I had it on the website with Chris Bledsoe. Do you have,
Oh, Chris and his dog.
are you familiar with him? No, Chris Bledsoe.
Yes, but are you talking about the image with his dog?
That was one of the stories. I posted three things. The other one is about the message from the lady. Maybe it's under messages. If, I'm afraid I'll lose you if I try to
Oh,
find it.
you're okay. I do not mind bebopping around because
Because that's an important message. Um, Now he's somebody that I met back in the days, back in 2009, when he was just being criticized by the whole world, his family, his church, everybody was just piling on him. He had everything was going wrong in his life. And Evelyn Gordon and I, who you've also met, and she sends her best to you.
oh,
Um,
to her too.
we were at the very first time that he spoke publicly about what he had seen. And the reason that he named his book UFO of God is because he was at his wits' end. He had physical problems, a health problem, his family was falling apart, his everybody in his world was criticizing him, and he just went out and was who knows what he was saying to God. But whatever he was saying to God, the UFO showed up. And
Yeah.
his life changed after that. And that's why he called the book The UFO of God. And it's interesting when you talk to him or you hear some of his video conversations. Um, he asked the people from NASA and CIA and FBI and all these people with the alphabet soup distinctions have shown up at his place. And they're very interested in him. And he said, why? He said, well, we know they're there, but they will talk to you. You know? And so that's why he's probably the most studied um, in experiencer that there is in the country, right, in the world right now. And
Well,
the
yeah.
reason I wanted to find that, I wish I could do both things at
Well,
the
I've
same
got the
time.
image of him with his book. I don't have.
Okay, does that have the message from the lady? Because that's the one I think your audience needs to know about.
Let me look.
It has the book in it, I believe. I have to confess, normally I really can zip through on my own page and find things and
I know.
instantly give you what you need or what I need or whatever
Let's
we
see if
need.
this is the one that you had in mind. It's taking a minute to load. Oh, it said give it a minute and try again. Oh, I don't
Oh,
want to do it as an overlay.
I guess this makes your audience feel like they're right in the room with us.
My audience is used to me sometimes having a moment. Periodically, things go a little bit awry here and there. Let's see
While
if I
you're
can get
doing
this
that,
to
I
work.
will hold this up. Maybe there. Does that get in the
There it
picture?
is.
Anyhow, that is the cover of the book Spy in the Sky. I was trying to
I
kill
love that
time.
cover. There's
Okay.
Chris.
Does that have the story with the message? It should. Is there a message beneath it? Maybe not.
I am trying to read it. Oh, it would help if I put my specs on, wouldn't it? This is a spiritual journey, clouds of fire healings, and that it doesn't have the.
It doesn't have the
Hi,
message.
Raymond. We have Raymond in our chat now. Let me go back here and let me look again. Let me go to Chris's page. He never minds if I do that. He's never boring. He has the most interesting life.
He has the most interesting what?
Life. He has had. And I don't think that a lot of it has been his idea of a good time. But once he stopped.
Okay, I think I found it going
Did you?
another way. I'm going to read this to you. It's going to, all right, here we go. This is real important. At first, Chris only saw the UFOs, and they saw the little ETs. But well into his experience, a spirit lady appeared floating in the sky right just above him. And really, she would fit the image of, let's say, a Virgin Mary kind of look. And she gave him a message that I think everybody needs to hear about. And she foretold what's going to happen in 2026. And I'm going to read it to you because I think it's that important. And this is Chris talking. The lady explained to me that in April of 2026, there would be an alignment where this star, which is a blue star of Regulus, appears on the horizon in front of the Sphinx, the one in Egypt, and it would be red. And when that happens, it would mark a shift into a new knowledge, not an apocalypse. That's what she told me. It doesn't mean Jesus is coming back. There's a new knowledge that's coming. What is that? Is it under the pyramids? They've discovered something? Is it the Hall of Records? Is it disclosure? When I told this to the government about 2026, I just repeated what she told me. They immediately put remote viewers on it. Then all of a sudden, all of the remote viewers are saying, oh my God, 2026, 2027, something is going to happen. We don't know what, but something. And they have been following Chris ever since.
Well, I know a lot of remote viewers. I haven't heard anything about that, but that doesn't mean anything. But, with the equipment that they found under the structures in Egypt, maybe they have a setting for a time.
Well, apparently they have had experts check on this, and there is an alignment with Regulus and the Sphinx at the time that she has predicted. And of course, he didn't even know where Regulus was or what constellation it was in. He didn't know any of this when he got the message. So he's getting this raw information, and people have, with the expertise to check it out, have confirmed that there will be that alignment around Easter time. And he has also said at different times and on different shows that the lady has appeared and done different things on several Easter days or Easter weekends. And so I think he really does expect that to happen at Easter.
Well, that'll be interesting, terrifying. I hope just interesting. So, some of the things that he's gone through have been pretty traumatic initially because
I don't know why he had to go through so much. If he clearly is on a mission to be a messenger and to give information. And I'm just he's so honest. He's so down to earth. He doesn't have any pretense about him. He presents his stuff in a very humble way. He's not like one of these ego people who, is taking credit for what's coming through him or to him. Um, I liked him in the beginning, but he's changed. These experiences have just he's changed more than any person that I've ever met.
Really?
For the good. He's just truly um, a humble spiritual person.
Well, I was glad that his dog was healed. I'm a dog girl. So
Yes, you
I
can tell
was,
that story. Go ahead. I'm sure you got dog lovers
no,
in the audience.
I don't know the whole story. I just know that it happened. And, you know, because I don't know what happened to the dog.
I don't think he knows. The dog is
That,
suddenly there with a gash on its throat, and it's spurting out blood because obviously an
yeah,
artery had been hit, and the dog's bleeding to death. He's putting the
was
hand on
bleeding
it. He's
out.
trying to do everything to stop it. And he called out at least 3 times, Lord, what can I do? That kind of pleading. And then suddenly he just calmed down and he could feel the dog get calmer. And when he lifted his hand, there was no scar, there was no blood. And the dog got up and walked away with its tail wagging. And there was a very notable person. I'm not sure who it was. I don't want to say the wrong name, but somebody who's known in UFO circles was there and witnessed that and ran his camera. So somewhere there, this has been uh, videotaped.
That would
At
be
first, I thought,
interesting
how
to see
callous
that.
is that to get your camera out when the dog is bleeding? But then I'm thinking he probably was doing what he was supposed to do because he was recording what really was a miracle.
Well, and probably he was directed to that.
Yes,
You
I
know,
think so. But my first reaction was, my God, how can you pick up a camera when the dog is bleeding? That I'm not sure that would be my first reaction.
well,
But,
it wouldn't be mine because I would be on the floor trying to help
right.
staunch the bleeding with Chris. But not everybody, sometimes you have to have,
I think that was his mission. And it
yes,
wasn't, I didn't immediately understand that.
well, you know, my best friend is in chat and we are night and day. We are we are very different personalities and it just happens to work. And so things that wig me out, she can just plod right through. Things that wig her out, I'm just kind of like, really? Well, we're gonna just do this. I mean, we are the yin and the yang, and we travel together. We travel international together, so that's good to have, right? And
Absolutely.
she's very savvy, but she's also kind of naive about some scenarios. The same could be said of me, or if you're in an environment and you don't anticipate there being an issue, then you're not looking for an issue. So when it springs up, you're just kind of like, oh, oh dear. But I think that maybe in Chris's scenario with the gentleman with the camera, that would have been the case. Chris is obviously panicked trying to save his dog, asking for help. And the friend is like, oh my gosh, I'm just going to film. I don't know why you would just film that. That had to be a direction thing, being given direction to do that. But because the average person is not going to do it. So they would have been concerned trying to help doing something else. So obviously
Anyhow,
he
I
was,
wanted to bring up Chris's message from the lady because it gives us something to look forward to see, what really transpires. I really have confidence that something will happen that will be
I do
notable.
too.
I really, really do have that. And so I wanted to share that with everybody else.
Well, and I'm glad you did because I have so much respect for Chris. And I mean, this has not been an easy path that he's been taken down.
I don't know if you or I would survive the path and come out
I
like
don't
he has
either.
come out. And he also has one of those great minds that retains everything, one of those
Yes.
that you and I obviously admire.
Yes. Well, I'll tell you, and I'm just going to be blunt about this. I found out a couple of months ago I have adult ADHD, and it's a postmenopausal. And apparently, when women's bodies change, if you already have ADHD, the collagen makes it. I don't really know why, but so I thought I had Alzheimer's. I could not remember anything. I It was hideous. And so I was so afraid that I went for neurological testing pretty quickly. And the guy said, "You don't have any indicators for that, but what you do have is this." So yeah, I'm learning how to manage my attention deficit, which is new to me as far as this goes. So yeah, that little guy that did the testing, that was a voice of God because I was just about to give up and figure out where I was going to go live because I didn't want David to have to deal with all this, right? So it was bad. But now it's not so much. But that's why sometimes, but I can now, you know, 3 months ago, I wouldn't have been able to go and add things in as we were going. So it's getting better.
I don't have any excuse, and I don't think I could do it.
Well, you have a lot of other skills with your
I'd
organization.
like to focus on whatever I'm doing and to
Yes.
multitask while I'm trying to talk to somebody. I really don't care to do that. Um, Anyhow, I'm going to jump the subject again. You ready for a new one?
Let's do that.
Okay. With Spy in the Sky, I also explored Mars. And
Oh my gosh, I love this, what you did there.
and I don't know why I'm starting with this one, but whenever I would go and check out Mars using Google Earth Plus, I would go right to left or left to right. And one day I thought, Mary, you got to get out of your box and start thinking differently. So I started exploring from pole to pole, which
Yeah.
is not your natural instinct. I discovered 27 square cut entrances
Yeah.
into Mars. And we're not talking something old, we're talking something that looks like it's probably in use. All of them in round figures range from 400, I'm rounding them off, 400 feet across to 1,000 feet across. They're spread out over 16 miles. That's not it, but that's interesting too. Um, and um, I don't know. There's a lot going on in Mars. And well, let me pull something else. Let me pull my book up here. I've got one
Okay.
page. There's one page I keep marked all the time because I think it's real important. The
Okay.
man who was the head of the space security program for Israel for almost 30 years, his name, I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's Haim Ashid, and I'm sure that's wrong. But anyhow, he decided that after all those years, and he had a great reputation, he didn't have anything to worry about. And so he decided to go public with what he knew. And he made a statement for the Jerusalem Post in December of 2020. And I've got the whole statement in the book. I'm only going to read you two sentences, but I think they're
Okay.
important. The first one is there's an agreement between the US government and the aliens. Another sentence. There's an underground base in the depths of Mars where the aliens are and also our American astronauts. So I have that in the book as a preface to some of these things that I've found that indicate that there is stuff going on in Mars right now. And I have
Yes.
found 3 UFOs um, on Mars. The one is parked there. I think it's like 3.5 miles in diameter, and it's round. It casts a shadow on the ground and has a little bit of a, um, I don't know, a hump or a bubble in the middle. And we've seen UFOs like that in photos sometimes here taken from the Earth.
Yeah.
and it's parked there. There's another one where it's gone like this and done a huge skid mark. And I measured the skid mark, and off the top of my head, it's well over 4,000 feet in length. And then you can see where this circular UFO has crashed into the soil of Mars. And then there's another one that's much smaller. And so I have found three UFOs on Mars. So that shows activity going on right now. And you can bring that picture back up. That's not in the book. It's been on the website and on the Facebook page. And this you can see, this looks like an ancient city. Mm-hmm. And the walls are still standing. And that's on Mars.
And the intricacy of that.
And that is
not Manhattan after a bomb.
There's no way that anything in nature is going to look just like this.
Mm-hmm. It's too symmetrical.
Yeah. And in an irregular fashion, like a honeycomb with the bees would be much more exact in the squares. And these aren't exact. They're different sizes. And the walls are not exactly straight, but they're straight.
They're straight. And I mean, they're as straight as they would be if there had been a catastrophic blow.
Right.
I mean, because things shift. If you have an earthquake or tsunami or hurricane or anything of that nature, the structure is not going to be pristine.
Right.
So,
all right, I'm just going to have fun jumping all over the place with you. I know you can follow me. I also used the Google Earth search on the moon. I did not expect to find anything because they've been covering up stuff on the moon forever and ever and ever. I found a white pyramid. Off the top of my head, it seems like it's like 328 feet, I think, on each side. It's white. It's a perfect pyramid. Here's the interesting thing. It's on the side of the moon that faces Earth. I was shocked. I truly did not expect to find one darn thing. So that was a nice surprise.
Well, I have a question for you since we're on the moon, okay? As it were. But I'm fascinated because I saw, what is his name? Mike Barra, one of the ancient alien guys. But I didn't mean to be dismissive like that. He's really brilliant. He's fun to talk to. He's got imagery. And he's like, oh, there's all kinds of structures on the dark side of the moon. You know, we've had, you know, I was like, well, ostensibly we don't go there. So how do you know? You know, he had visuals. And I was like, where did you get those? But it's interesting. And, you know, China's been back there. And I would love to see what they found on their imagery. But I haven't found anywhere to look at that. I think they're better at hiding things than we are. But there's so much stuff like you would find in your pyramid. You know, there's stuff that just blows my mind that you find that just is so, you know, on our planet. The stuff that you were doing in Antarctica.
Yeah.
Was, oh my God.
Okay, let's stick with Antarctica for a second. Supposedly, most scientists agree that planet or that continent's been under ice for like 34 million years.
Yeah.
That's an awful long time. Well, I think it was in 2020 or 2021, we began to find ancient ruins of ancient cities in Antarctica because the ice is melting so fast. Mm-hmm. We found these 5 cities. Back to the cover-up. I got those pictures, posted them, and they get blurred out as soon as I put them on the website. But I have both the before and afters in the book, Spy in the Sky. I think this is exciting information.
It is.
The oldest thing that we talk about, the Great Pyramid being so old, it's like just a blink of an eye compared to 34 million years.
Yeah,
I mean, it's in the thousands of years rather than millions of years. And why they want to cover that up, I do not know. Why do they want to hide the ancient pyramids in the Atlantic? Why do they want to hide the ancient civilization in Antarctica? Why? I'm jumping around again,
That's okay.
but why were all these skeletons, giant skeletons, found mostly in the 1800s? And they would call in the Smithsonian to come and get them because they wanted them preserved.
Hmm.
And nobody ever saw them ever again.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, why are we hiding all this stuff? I don't understand it.
Well, I don't understand it either. And, it's actually very annoying because the during the period, and you know this, a lot of this information I gleaned from you, but we had right around the time prior to Barack Obama's second inauguration, there were heads of state
Oh, I remember.
going to
I did
Antarctica.
an article on that. All of
You
these
did.
people, big. It was Kerry, who was Secretary of State at that time, who
On the
went down
day of
there.
the inauguration. He missed
Yes.
Barack's second inauguration because he went to Antarctica.
Uh huh.
And, Prince Harry had gone on behalf of England. He had gone down there. The Pope had sent envoys down there. I
The
mean,
head of
every,
the head of the Russian Orthodox Church
yes,
went there, and before he went, he met with the Roman Pope. So they had a
yes.
huddle before he went down there. But
And
it never ever what they were actually doing never ever came out, as far as I know.
not yet, but you remember because Lockheed Martin was working down there. They had a, a they were doing something down there, and I think you were where I gleaned that information. So I went to the Lockheed Martin website to find out about what kind of project this might be, and I found where you could apply to go down there on their website. You could apply for a job to go there.
Hmm.
The requisites for that job were that you did not have your own communication device. You did not have um, any way of communicating outside of that work compound other than utilizing their technology.
That's very interesting.
It was. And I mean, the money was decent, but it wasn't astounding. And I was just kind of like, I should go. I should go get that job and go down there. And David was like, they would never let you come there in the first place. And if you got there, they'd never let you out. But I
You
just
might be
found this
right.
maybe. But the caverns that you found,
The what?
the caverns, the entries, the holes, do you
Oh
not
yeah.
remember that?
Uh-huh. Yes.
To me, the size of these holes that you were finding were really bizarre. The whole scenario was
I
bizarre.
think that they were covered up because they're active entrances, is what I think.
Because
And
what?
one of the smaller of the two entrances has what very much looks like a metal awning over it.
Hmm.
And but I can't get a straight shot into that one. I only could get a side angle shot.
Yeah. But that's what I'm talking about. I mean, you find these things and, and I love it because you spark my curiosity and I do things like go see if I could apply for the job to go there, right? you know, Anybody could. It was right there on the
Yeah.
Lockheed Martin website.
I didn't go and check out what you went a step further than I did.
Well, I'm nosy.
I You would have been a great spy.
I would, mainly because I sound Southern and nobody thinks that I do know anything.
Gotcha.
It's a real
Gotcha.
good camouflage.
I gotcha. But
So,
I think people that are listening really need to understand how what an effort's being made to keep this stuff from the public. There was one day I found something very unusual in Antarctica. I was on the phone. I called somebody who you would know. There's somebody who's in the field for a long time with UFOs. I'm even going to avoid the pronouns on this one. And I said, I'll send you what I've found. But it was in the morning. I said, after I take a shower, I'll come back and send it to you. Came back, it had already been wiped out. And it was so obvious because somebody asked me, well, did they just digitize it? No, there you could see like a oval type circle, almost like they'd cut a hole of paper and put it right smack on top of that. It almost matched, but not quite. That happened in the time that it took me to take a shower.
Holy cow.
Yeah, the holy cow is right. But I don't worry about it. I just, whatever, I just have to do what I do.
Well, and I admire that so much because you have delved into some quite interesting things that
Without,
people didn't really want anybody looking at.
of course, I
And
didn't know it until after I did it.
isn't that often the way?
Yes, it
But
is.
it's just but I think what you do is so important because I would never have known about the anything going on Antarctica. I knew that the Nazis ostensibly had gone there um, after the war, and well, to Bolivia and some of the other countries in the U-boats, and then you know gone on. But I would never have thought to look at so many different things if I hadn't discovered you.
Well,
And I just want to tell you that that matters to me a lot because I think that you make a lot of things in the world make sense sometimes. And even if you can't get to all the information, you put eyes on it. You have other people put eyes on it. And that can affect the outcome of just about anything. I really think that when I learned from you about the activity at South America and Antarctica, I went really full blown public with that. I talked about it. I talked about it when I was at conventions. I talked about it to people I was having
and
dinner
see,
with.
that's the ripple effect. We all have our little
Yeah,
stone to throw, and you never know where the ripples are going to go. But
no,
there's a whole lot of us all around the world, and we're all doing the best we can with the pond we're in to try to get the information out. And we can't see the big picture, but there's a lot of us, and there's a lot of information getting out there,
yep,
and and it's more important now than it has ever been. We are actually we're living in very exciting times.
we
I
are.
kind of get disgusted with our local, not local, but our earth level politics. I mean, that just sickens me. But we'll find our way out of that too.
We always do.
We have to.
You know, over time, I mean, hell, we fought a war against each other in this country over it. I mean, you know, it's just people are going to be people. Humans are so fallible, and then you have the ones that think they're not on both sides of any fence or, you know, river or whatever. And yet we're all very much the same. And it's just a matter of whose ox is being gored. And that's the way it's been from cavemen to now. And that's the way it's going to be 2,000 years from now if this planet's still here. It's just the way it is. And, you know, Atlas Shrugged is a real thing. If we do enough to the planet, it's going to just, and we'll be gone, and the next, you know, version of us will be here. And it's happened before.
It's happened before.
So,
Yep.
The earth is very much capable of taking care of itself. And we may not always like the way that it takes care of itself, but it does a good job.
Yeah.
We came back from atomic weapons. We've got what is it? The little microscopic things that eat radiation. I mean, there's all kinds of things that are designed to save the earth from us.
The whole thing, I've become very concerned about the nuclear stuff, and I think
The
that
nuclear
I've
stuff
recently
is,
I posted stuff so people can see the extent of the nuclear waste that's been stuffed into the bowels of the earth all over the
oh
planet.
gosh, I read that. Yes.
Oh, and nuclear energy. I mean, the ETs are concerned about this.
Yeah.
For years and years, I've heard about UFOs being over the nuclear plants. Um,
Well, Chernobyl. I mean,
right.
they were over Chernobyl.
Yep. And they were over Japan. One of the
Mm-hmm.
stories I did fairly recently was
Oh,
about a monk, um, and he was in a monastery near, what is it?
Fukushima.
Thank you. And uh, everything around that monastery was devastated. The
Mm-hmm.
monastery stood. He was close enough that he was able to see multiple UFOs come in. And he said the UFOs saved them because he said the UFOs were helping reduce the flow of the radiation. And along
Well,
with that story, I had the link to it's not a good quality video, but it's a short video that was taken when all that was actually happening. And you can see multiple UFOs over the plant.
that's when it.
And there were three of the units that had exploded.
Yeah.
Here's the interesting thing. I didn't point it out in the article, but you can see it if you look at the video. Here's all these all these UFOs, and it seems like there was at least 10 of them, maybe more. And at the end, they all come back and blend into one, which I
I
thought was
have
fun.
heard another situation where that happened. I wonder if they were referring to that. But
No, there's been other times where you see them split and come back to one. That's not
yes,
the only
okay.
time. But in this particular situation, it just really struck me that it seems like I counted 11 UFOs over the plant at one time. It's
You
it's
know,
worth it's worth seeing the little video.
well, I'm going to. But I am so I'm glad that they're doing that because we can't. We can't fix this. And my husband thinks that I'm a nut. I don't eat Pacific seafood. And I mainly eat Gulf Coast seafood. I mean, I don't like.
You think the Gulf is cleaner than the Pacific? And if you do,
I
why?
don't think that the Gulf is cleaner than anywhere, but I mean, I really don't because it's all one body of water. It goes, yeah, it's different bodies of water, but they're all interconnected. And the tides are
So
what makes,
why do you not eat from the Pacific Ocean? I'm
because
acting
I
like
don't
your
want
husband
to,
now, aren't I?
yeah, it's okay. But I don't want to, I just feel like perhaps by the time it's here, it's dissipated somewhat. I don't want to be drinking or eating from directly across from nuclear waste being spilled.
Okay,
And,
I got you. I
you know,
understand.
I have a hard time with there's a lot of places that I go by and around that have twin reactors. I mean, that's what is normal now, apparently. And I just don't like it. I don't like that Hermosa Springs and the water off of Stewart, Florida, um, near Palm Springs. I mean, Palm Beach. Um, I don't like that it's warm because of the water coming out of the reactor zone, because they have to, it's water cooled.
Mm,
So the water is flowing in and out. At Hermosa Springs, you've got it's a big manatee place, but it's very close to reactors, and
true, it is. Yeah.
the water is so warm, because and the manatees are there all the time in it.
Hmm.
So, I have I I'm not a vigilante about nuclear power. I think it's brilliant, and I don't think it's any more dangerous really than anything else we use. It's just that we don't know how to contain it if there's a problem. So that's a problem.
I really do think it's worse than any other form of energy we have.
Well,
In the long run, in the long
in the
run,
long run,
in the long
yes.
run, it's just
If there's a
because
problem,
we
we can't
create
fix it.
we create this poison in large amounts that takes
Yeah,
forever to dissipate. Forever.
literally,
Literally.
literally.
And in that article I did about the earth being stuffed with all the waste, there's a diagram where there's a picture of actual photo of a plant in, I think of Sweden. But then there's a diagram down below it that shows you the extent of these tunnels that just go every which way, where they will have and will continue to bury this nuclear waste. Our earth, we can't keep poisoning the earth. And
Well, no, because if we kill it, we got no place to go
we got
because
no
we
place
don't
to
have
live.
that capability.
And I don't know if we have enough microbes to clean it up.
They're really small microbes.
Yes, I know.
Well, and yeah, everybody's like, oh well, ETs come and they do things to save us from ourselves. So eventually, they're going to get tired of that, I would think, and they're going to be like, you haven't learned, you haven't changed your behavior, you haven't done anything.
I don't
You're
think
on
they're
your
ever
own.
going to stop protecting us, if they can, from nuclear disaster. Because if we have a true nuclear disaster on
Yeah,
this
that's
planet,
coming up.
the effect of it goes way beyond this planet,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that will affect them. And so they're not going to let us just blow ourselves up with nuclear stuff. They're not going to let us destroy the planet. I don't. We may destroy ourselves, but they're not going to let the planet get destroyed.
Well, if you think about that, it's not just us, right? Because
Right.
if if we blow the earth up, if we kill the earth, then if we don't kill, yeah, if we kill it, it's going to keep spinning. I mean,
Well, like
that,
Mars, there's no doubt that something catastrophic happened on Mars, and
yes,
life as we
it's
know it got
obvious.
destroyed. And I don't know if we will. We're trying to make it work again, but the atmosphere got blown away and everything. And then we
Yeah,
had the astro belt. That has to have been a planet that absolutely
at
blew
some
up. They don't
point.
want
Yeah,
any more of that happening. They really
yeah.
don't. I'm talking
Well,
about they as the ETs now.
yeah. Well, and the main part of that, I think, is that I don't know how long it takes to recover from a planet dying, or like with the asteroid belt, that would be that would affect every gravitational point for
And
every other
you
body.
can't glue that back together. I don't know how you
Yeah.
reestablish an atmosphere on Mars, but the ETs may have the ability to do that. I don't know.
Well, one would hope they're working on it at least
They
as
got to be smarter than we are. They just have to be.
well. You know, maybe they just have cooler toys and the intelligence quotient stays pretty similar. I don't. The thing that gets me really is that they do not, to date, from what I understand, and you have more input probably into this, they do not really appear to want to interact with us as a society. I mean, I don't know.
I don't think that's true. I think we have hybrids cannot identify that they're hybrids, but there are hybrids working, in high places, working in the
Yeah, that's
Pentagon,
true.
working in places. So they're involved with us much more than we realize. And also, they wouldn't be planning this big appearance, undeniable appearance, which is, we're in the midst of that now. It's only escalating.
Yeah.
If they didn't intend to be more involved with us, they wouldn't be doing that. That would be a waste of their time.
I just think that, I don't know. I think that we have been exposed to hybrids very recently through our media, relevant to some of the things that we see happening.
The hybrids that are really, truly hybrids, who are here on a specific mission, let's say to work at a certain plant or a certain company, they don't identify themselves as a hybrid. And you have to take with a grain of salt people who identify themselves as a hybrid. They may or may not be.
That's true.
My understanding is
I
they
don't
don't.
think they're I don't think they're advertising, but I do think I'm seeing them here and there. And it's almost like they aren't minding that so much.
Are you seeing them?
I'm seeing them in environments that surprise me.
Give
I,
me more.
I don't really want to say on the air. I
Okay.
mean, because it's recent and it's not in a position of power in our government. It's in a position of, and I apologize, I think my husband's home. But I think that they are appearing in moments on our televisions. I think that I think they're part of disinformation.
Part of disinformation.
Disinformation.
And
What do you think?
why would they do that?
Because we're not.
Every legitimate hybrid that I've heard about is here with a specific mission and remains undercover with the public and would not be participating in disinformation.
I think that I'd rather take that off the air
Okay.
because I really like, being on the air and, not being, you know, on anybody's radar. But there was I think that relevant to this comment. Okay. I think relevant to the public's attention and other things that are happening out in the broad universe, as well as some things that are happening on Earth. I think that there's maybe disinformation is too strong, but a lack of clarity about some things. And I found it very interesting. I'm just going to go. I think in that press conference, relevant to Three Eye Atlas, that,
I did not see this, so you're going to have to fill us
okay,
in.
okay. Well, I'm going to be labeled a crackpot for this, and I really don't care. I do represent Fate magazines. We're known for that. But all of our stuff is true. So they're just kind of weird and amazing tales. But in that press conference, right? I like Abbey Loeb. I think that he's the creator of the Galileo project. The man knows his stuff. He's a Harvard full tenured professor. He is not an idiot, and he's not a lightweight in the field of astrology, astronomy, you know, so many kinds of physics. He's just brilliant. And he is saying that this is something that's not really presenting fully. It has some different wobbles from comets, that there are other things. Yeah, the word non-gravitational thrust caught people's ear. Well, um, a steam blast is not gravitational. So that's, but there's other things that were included with that. So the first thing that happened in that press conference when they came on, they had 4 people sitting there. And the first gentleman, all he said was, "This is a comet. This is a comet." He was done. Everybody else went from there. And I was just kind of like, what's your role? you know, what do you do? And I'm certain that he had all the letters behind his name and that he was, a communications representative and other things. And it was a great press conference. Okay. It really was a great press conference. They were clear, they were concise, but there's no way this is anything but a comet. Well, don't talk down, because we've seen things that weren't comets before. And we've seen them around our things in space. We've seen them around, things here. That's not something that's a surprise that there might be something that's not a comet. And the fact that we have had nothing in our history that we recognized as being interstellar. And we had the wow signal that came from Sagittarius, which is where this came from. So we've had a communication from the region that this came from, reporting that there were.
That's an important point.
It is an important point.
Mm-hmm.
And so since 2017, almost no time in the grand scheme of things, we have had 3 interstellar objects come through. This one was emitting signals of some type. There was signal coming from this comet. And, you sit there, and I try so hard not to be a real harsh conspiracy theorist about stuff. This is not conspiracy theory. This is, they did not do a good enough job of suppressing information if they were going to have the conference that they had. So that's not on anybody that's questioning it. It's on the fact that if you wanted to have this be downplayed, you should have done a better job. Okay? Mm-hmm. Because anybody, I have a Dobsonian telescope. I'm not great with it yet. I haven't had much chance to play with it. But it's been, there's a lot of people with better telescopes than me who are really excited to see this. And I'm very excited to see this. I'm practicing every night, right? But if they were going to sell this bill of goods, that they should have done a better suppression job. And I don't know why they didn't, if that was the conference that they were going to come out with. So they were lovely people. They said all the things. Interestingly enough, that man only really said that. and he was very austere, and I just felt like they were trying to play us. It was so frustrating. Not that they were not lovely people, not that they were not doing what they did. Hey, Mark Eddie, but it was just an annoyance, and I felt seriously like they were just playing us.
Wish I'd
And
seen it
well, you can,
on
but I
YouTube,
really felt that
probably.
they were disrespectful of Dr. Loeb, and I have a lot of respect for him. It's okay to be a voice in the wilderness. People thought Einstein was a nut. I mean, really, they thought so many people who we look back at now as
They were ahead of
leaders.
their times, and people thought they were crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Edison. I mean, and I really think that I just think they didn't do a good job of suppressing the information if they didn't want people questioning what they were talking about.
You're making sense to me.
That's because we look at these things. But, you know, and that's the strongest thing I've said about that. I think that
You haven't said anything that'll get you in trouble.
so far, the night is young. So, but I do. I just feel like, and I do want there to be communication. I do want there to be um, something besides us in the universe.
Oh,
I know that there is.
you know there is. I was on a show
Yeah,
with somebody who really comes from a very conservative kind of background, but he's really interested in a lot of these different things. And we started off the show with me coming right back at him. I wasn't nasty, and it worked out just fine. But he said something like everything out there were demons. I couldn't let that one pass. I said,
I know you couldn't.
basically, I told, because he believes in God. I said, basically, God would be the creator or the God of all the universe. I didn't
Yeah.
use universe plural, which I would have done, except for with his background, I thought I better not push it. Um, why would everything out there be evil and everything good is only on this planet? And I said, we're
A
not,
lot of evil on this planet.
and yes, yes. So that's how I started one YouTube show or, podcast show.
How did the rest of that go?
It went quite well, but I just couldn't let that one pass. I just, come on, there can't be demons out there in the rest of the universe, and the only good guys are here, and we have a whole lot of bad ones.
Well, I that's probably the most outspoken I've been about that. And I have a lot of friends who are parts of MUFON, who are government employees, who are great debunkers of anything people bring. And that drives me bananas because they have a very loud public voice, and they downplay what people bring. Yet I know they have experiences themselves. And I don't think if you are an experiencer that you should downgrade somebody else that's bringing their experience also. When
Right.
you're in a position
If
to
somebody
say
else's experience doesn't match theirs, they poo-hoo it. Is that what's
their
happening?
criteria,
Yeah.
they don't meet the criteria for this to be a real phenomenon in their life.
Gotcha.
And I, and then those are the people that are calling for debunking of everything.
Mm.
thing. And I have a problem with that. I really do.
Well, it's not
This
right.
is
It's not
it's
right.
too anomalous, and nobody knows the answers except for the people that aren't, you know, letting their cards be on the table. And I think that I don't know why it's such a big deal to keep this under wraps. I mean, I think that why do you think they go to such an effort to?
Well, I think what's happening now is the ETs have decided that they're going to take over and make the disclosure, and because human beings have been trying to hide it, so I think the ETs are going to pull it off this time. I think they've decided to do it.
What would be their motivation?
I don't know if it's all. Some of it's just to save the planet, but
Yeah, yeah,
all of we human beings, if you go back far enough, we are star seeds. We've all
yeah.
originated out there in the stars. And so we're related in some different kind of way to these people we call ETs.
Mhm.
Um, so I think there's a concern about us, just like we would be concerned about, puppies.
As it were.
Yeah, dumb
Yeah.
puppies. They don't know any better. They poop on the floor and pee on the carpet, and but we know they can grow up and be better than that. And I think that's kind of how they must at least sometimes feel about us.
I could take puppy. I like
I
puppies.
feel like puppy. I picked the right analogy.
Yeah, that's mine. And you know, I just I hope I hope that when they show up that a bunch of people don't show up with, you know, Uzis, machine guns, and I guess they are the same thing, or you know, try to mount them. I mean, just to be able to not be all wiggy and enjoy the opportunity to understand a little bit. I know they're there.
Oh, without a doubt,
I
without a
mean,
doubt.
I
There's
have
so much evidence.
experiences.
So much evidence.
Yeah,
People with just ordinary cameras are now able to get pictures where you can see just all sorts of UFOs flying all over the place.
yeah,
And I post them occasionally just so people can see how active it really is.
I know. I think that that's such a service. I really do. I think that to be able to provide people with an opportunity to see that because it's not reported. And, even the old adage, well, I'll believe it when I see them on the White House lawn. Well, they have had, what,
Yeah,
30
and I did a story
or
on that
buzzing
too.
the White
The
House.
night before they had the one of the hearings
Yes.
about UFOs at Congress, the night before, the late afternoon before, UFOs were seen over the Capitol.
Yeah.
And I did a story on that and showed one of the pictures of two of them
Yes.
flying in tandem. Don't you think they knew that that conference was going on? Don't you think they
Yes.
deliberately made that their appearance known?
Yes.
Absolutely. That's why I'm saying
Absolutely.
disclosure's been taken out of the government's hands because the government hasn't done it. So I think the UFOs or the ETs have simply decided, well, we're going to do it. And they're showing up more and more for more and more people.
And I mean, they're putting on shows in some instances.
Hmm.
I think that's cool. I'd like to see that. I would.
Well,
And
get together with one of Chris Bledsoe's sky watches. He sees them
well,
every time, every time.
I know. I think I like that. I like him. I mean, I haven't had a chance.
He's a genuine person, and I hope
Well,
everybody remembers what he says is going to happen in April because I think something significant will. And I think
I do
things will
too.
continue to speed up between now and then.
Well, I tell you what, I didn't know what to think when I started talking to him because, and he's very cautious for reasons. And so I just thought,
Did you have him on your show or did you meet him someplace
not
else?
yet. I was just talking to him
Okay.
online. And I just really was so impressed with him. And then, well, I got hacked right about that same time. So I
Mm,
had to start everything over from ground zero. And it was very interesting to talk to him. He was a little reticent at first. And when I was reading his book, I was like, holy wow. You know, and for those, UFO's a guide, go read it. But it was just a good book and he shared well. And so people like him are who are going to help the rest of us not wig out when the time comes.
right. Because he has the ability to be calm, or not ability, that's just the essence of him.
Yeah,
So
but I like it. I think that he's pretty impressive.
I'll vouch
So
for him.
I'm glad you think that too.
Yep, I absolutely will.
Well,
So,
tell people where to come and find your stuff, and because
okay, I'll
I don't
do
even
the.
have your book,
Okay,
your big book.
I will do it. The thing I really want to get out there is the book. It's called Spy in the Sky, and I've referenced it in many ways, but there's information in there that I really, really want out, and there are forces that are trying to keep me from getting it out.
Yeah.
So the only way you can get it right now is you go to the website, skyshipsovercashers.com. Cashers is spelled like a cashier at the grocery store. Sky ships over cashers. If you go to Editor's Corner, it'll tell you how to get the book.
Yeah.
And it's $16. It would be a whole lot more if it were to be available on Amazon. So it's a deal. But it's important information. I'm losing money on it, but I don't care. It's important that the information get out there. And so that's the biggest thing I want to plug. Um, the Skyships Over Webs, Sky, now I can't say it, skyshipsovercashers.com is packed with information. It goes back to 2008. The information in the archives will be new to many people, even though it's been there for quite some time. Um,
And you
it's
can't go
updated.
wrong with it.
It's updated. With few exceptions, it's updated once a week, usually just before the weekend. I also have a Facebook page, and it's just Mary Joyce. There's a Mary A. Joyce on there. That was me. I was severely hacked. I can't access that anymore. I had to start a new page. So it's just Mary Joyce without a middle initial. The one with the initial, I can't even control it anymore. So the hackers seem to just get great delight in messing things up.
They do, don't they?
They do.
I was so thrilled with that, as I'm sure you were. But I'm so glad that you were on tonight.
Well, it's a joy to see you, and you look like you're feeling really well. I've seen a couple clips from your travels, and you've been a
Yeah.
busy girl.
I love it though.
I know you do.
Yeah.
I know. That's
There's
great,
so many things to learn.
without a
So
doubt.
and it's I'm going someplace new at the first of the year, so that'll be different. I'm going to head way south. So
What does way south mean? You going to Antarctica?
believe I wish, girl. You know I couldn't give up all my communication. My husband have a fit. But I'm going to South America.
All right. Don't go to
So
Venezuela.
no, no. I do not want to be a statistic. So
Anyhow, it's been great talking to you, and hope to see you again in person sometime. And Evelyn
well,
sends her best. She really wanted to emphasize that she wanted you to know that.
well, let her know that I send mine to and thank her because yeah, I just had the best time when we got to spend that afternoon together. I'd like to spend more.
All
So
righty.
when we head that way, I'll let you know.
All righty. You take good care of yourself.
Thank you. You too. And thanks for
Night night.
being here.
I enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Bye bye.
ma'am. Bye. For everyone listening, thank you for being here, and we will see you next week. Same cat time, same cat channel. And I hope you enjoyed her. She is brilliant. And don't you just love this? I hate it. But anyway, we will see you next time. See you Wednesday for Paranormal Experience.